Hello, everybody. We are now live. This is Tales from Elsewhere 4K subs live stream AMA slash celebration with y'all. I have here Tim the editor, as promised.
It is me, Tim the editor. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
I'm glad to have y'all in here. It's morning for us, maybe afternoon or evening for some of you. And so we've been gathering some questions in the 4K live AMA question thread that we're going to start off with here, and we're just going to hang out, answer your questions. Once we've gone through everything in the Discord server, we'll then go to live questions here in chat. We don't have chat up on the stream quite yet, so let's get that fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yep. It's nice. I have the editor with me to fix this live. Oh yeah, there we go.
It's not actually showing up.
It might be a layer thing.
Where are we? Of course, was working the other day, last night, but I don't know why now it's not working. It's always something.
Always something.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No, I'll just do it.
We can just like screen
grab or
cap it,
something.
yeah. Why does Tim look like your Irish son? That's a really, I mean,
How did you know?
Tim is very genetically Irish,
Oh, yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
that's hilarious.
I might just have to screen grab.
Yeah, we might just have to. It's always something.
Because it was just working yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, you could probably just like screen grab that,
Yeah.
right? OBS being obstinate, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Twin Steel, there is the celebration hug thumbs up that I've come to love. Thank you.
All right.
We're just getting the chat up on screen here, folks, and then I'll start reading questions and we'll answer them. We plan on streaming for at least an hour, maybe two, just hanging out. What we are talking about today, Twice Dead Mage, is we've got some AMA questions. So we have the video editor for the YouTube channel here today. And so the plan is we're going to be talking a little bit more about what goes into content creation, as well as game design subjects, and whatever else you guys have been asking in that channel.
What am I doing? Oh my god. Do you know how to crop this? I forget.
You hold, yeah, you do that, and
Let's see
then
if it works.
and you can put it behind it on a layer,
Yeah.
so that it goes behind the overlay.
Hello.
Boom.
It's beautiful.
Yep, that'll do. Now we can at least yeah, there you go, perfect. That'll do.
Good
Okay.
Problem solved.
Yeah, things that worked just moments before basically don't work when we go live. It's how it
Yeah.
goes. All right, so without further ado, I've got your questions here, and it's time to just go through them. So the very first question was from Inertia, who I believe said he wouldn't be able to make the live stream. So when you're watching this later, watch this. He just says, I want to see Tim the editor's entire workflow.
Oh,
And
okay.
no, we don't want to do a 4-hour stream of Tim in Adobe Premiere or
Yeah.
something.
I also can't give it all away, Those,
Right,
those
yeah,
are
the trade secrets, yeah. But what I thought we would do is take you guys through what it looks like for one video to be made on this channel, from the idea all the way to delivering it on YouTube. And that way, that'll act as like the guidebook for how we build things. And that may answer some questions that come later.
Sorry, just testing something.
Oh, testing out chat over there.
They said they saw double chat, so it was showing up?
Oh, weird.
Or, I don't know.
Yeah, there needs to be some mystery to keep the editing interesting. Yeah, we gotta have a veil of mystery. So the way that we go about making a video is I will come up with an idea, either from the list of like 20, the backlog list I have of 20 different video ideas, or from debates and discussions we're having in the TFE Discord server. And I'll pick basically a day before I film. So I'll film on like a Saturday morning because I have terrible lighting in my office and I have to use natural light primarily to make it look correct. And I write a short outline of maybe 50 words in total, maybe a couple bullet points, and then I mostly record off the cuff. And what I do is I take several takes of each point I'm going to make in 30-second to 1-minute increments. And as I'm recording, I label each section in order, numerically, with also the subject of what I talk about in that section. So the final recording I've made is usually between 20 to 40 individual clips. pre-edited, so to speak. If a single point doesn't come out okay, I redo the take. And so I have a series of increments, usually 30 to 40, I think is the average. So that already in order, so that it takes a lot of the effort off of Tim to have to like cut a 20-minute block of me speaking. And that takes me usually 1 to 2 hours to put together, depending on how many takes I want to do and how much additional research I want to do the day of. But I'm a fairly ranty guy to begin with, so it doesn't take me all that much effort to talk for 20 minutes. And 20 minutes is what we aim for. So 50 words or less, because it's just an outline, really. It's not a script. I don't write out the language ahead of time. I'll sometimes, the day before, as I'm driving to go run errands, I'll start speaking through what I want to say the day before to myself, but it's mostly just in the moment coming up with it. So I put that together and I put it in a folder along with any any images or references that Tim will need from like things that I've designed or magic cards that he needs to reference specifically. Like I'll have some of that pre-referenced for him, put it in a drive folder, and then I just let him know it's ready to go. And this is the Saturday before a Friday's release, so about 5 days before. And then I hand it off to Tim.
And then the magic happens. The process is I basically, it helps that Peter organizes everything just already in different clips. Yeah. So I don't have to do any extra work, which is nice because it already is plenty of work. But one key thing about video editing and most things are just the organization. Because I've worked with other jobs where they were not good at organizing, and it really just slows down, bogs it all up completely. So that's extremely important to just start off organized, which it already starts that way from Peter's end, and I keep it organized. And then it usually takes me probably one day of work to get it done. Usually like a 8-hour day usually can fit it in. Sometimes even doesn't take me that long sometimes. But it's going through and just cutting out some of the beginning and ends of each clip. And since I do a lot of the the punch-ins where it goes to close-up, he shoots in 4K, so he can easily punch in and do that fun, little more engaging editing style. So I do a pass of just going through all of that and then kind of familiarizing myself with what he's saying so I can actually figure out how many clips from Alien I need. Or
it's always Alien or Predator.
I know those movies really well now. I mean, I did before, but
now you know them by heart. You know exactly when to go find Game Over, man. Game Over in Aliens.
But it's doing that pass and then coming back and just listening over and over to Peter's voice constantly, just the same lines over and over again, and just adding what I think fits. And most of the time Peter's like, oh yeah, that all looks good. So I just kind of got the style down and the vibe down now. He'll
send me a rough cut in, what is that site?
Frame.io is a really good website. Costs money, like everything. But you can put in your full video and you can share that link, and some Peter can go via timecode and type in like, oh, let's replace this image with this, and you can like circle things on the screen or put text everywhere, and he can I just look at that, and now I know all the feedback I need to fix. It's handy.
And when we first started working on this together 8 months ago, it required a lot more of my input to tell Tim what images to use where, what animations, but we've just got the rhythm down, having produced like 50 videos at this point, right? Or something insane. One every week for 8 months is, was it like 36 videos or something like that?
I think, around
something like that. And so now I'll often have to give no feedback, and my timestamp notes are like, that was awesome, or like really funny clip or something. It's just positive feedback rather than actually needing to change things. So that workflow goes very smoothly now.
And it's super easy. And then just put it back on Drive. He has YouTube already ready, set up.
And then I just put it into YouTube. And then I go through and I add the timestamps myself. And for what I forgot to mention is when I record, I'm using a Pixel 6 on a phone stand in front of my desk. And I use a $20 microphone. So I do not have an expensive setup. Tim has a more expensive... what we're filming on right now is way nicer than what I use, for example, because Tim's a professional video editor. He has all this equipment.
I also do videography and So this is my nice Sony A7 III camera, which I also used during COVID times. I started Twitch streaming.
Oh,
also.
yeah. You were Twitch streaming.
We were playing video games every day anyway, so I was like,
Yeah.
just set up this nice camera and
Right.
it looks good. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've also used my phone as well. There's this program called, I think it's IV Cam.
IV Cam is the one I use. Yeah.
So you just easily link from your computer to your phone, and it's just an excellent webcam because every phone is fantastic camera quality nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it
I mean,
can
the
be
phone,
done.
like I said, the Pixel 6 is what, an 8-year-old, 10-year-old phone.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not modern, but phones have such amazing cameras. But the key is to use the front-facing, or the back
Rear,
camera.
yeah.
The rear camera, not the front-facing one, because it's much higher quality. But yeah, with IV Cam, I wirelessly connect it to my PC just at my desk, and it's really convenient. I think there was a couple quick questions on what we were talking about here that I wanted to...
I want to see Tim the Editor's entire wardrobe.
Yeah. Oh, so you have 30 to 40. So Philip asked,
hilarious.
you have 30 to 40 bullet points? I do not. I usually have about 4 or 5 bullet points. They're just the major topics I want to hit, and then I do many small sections within it. So if I'm going to be talking about, what's a good example of one we did recently? Let's see, what video did I just record? Oh, I just recorded one that's coming out this upcoming week.
Yeah.
That is for the Dungeon Jam that some of you may have been seeing going around on YouTube. And so I just had notes like, okay, I need to introduce the challenge, talk about what a 5-room dungeon is, and then I made a note of like what the 5 rooms are called because I keep forgetting, and then like wrote outro. That's all I wrote. It was literally 20 words maybe, very roughly. And then within that, though, I expand on it. But I'm a very comfortable public speaker and ranter. And so I fill that in on the spot myself. So yeah, I sometimes don't even have an outline because I know the subject so well. Peter is basically your assistant editor. Yeah, well, I'm trying to take as much workload off of Tim as well. But also I found if you're having difficulty recording yourself for a long take because you keep messing up and you have to keep restarting it, by having each section only be 30 seconds to 1 minute when you make an individual point, it makes it so re-recording any individual part is way easier. You don't have to record your... Because I've messed up a Sheriff's Office Hours video, which you can find on Patreon, which is sometimes like 10 to 20 minutes of me talking uncut and unedited, and had to re-record the whole thing, and it is heartbreaking. Because I get all this energy, and then I have to reconjure it. We're going to come back. There's a bunch of other questions coming in, but I want to make sure we go to the pre-submitted ones first.
Yeah.
And then we'll catch back up where the chat is. Okay, next one. Okay, Mrs. Red Richard asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to allow Tim the Editor to do the entire Gotham villain lineup with your face? And then, in all seriousness, what is your favorite monster that you've created to date? Well, I can answer the monster one if, Tim, you want to get ready to show something. Do you have something you want to show off today?
Yeah, you all saw, I think, the Riddler thumbnail the other day.
Yeah. So the video talking about challenging the player versus challenging the character, Tim made this cursed Peter the Riddler thumbnail.
Yeah.
That is just horrible.
All right, I'm gonna switch to this.
Okay,
the chat's gonna disappear because
Yep.
it's all broken. Where am I at? Let's see what I got over here.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So we all saw. Let's see.
So there's Peter as the Riddler that was made.
Beautiful creation.
Yep. Nightmarish. Okay, it's so bad. I love it, but it's awful.
All right. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I went with Joker here. This one's real.
So bad.
To put a lot of work into this one, clearly.
Oh, I hate it. Oh, it's so weird. You chose Jack Nicholson Joker, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, it's a classic.
My favorite here is
disturbing.
The old penguin.
Gosh, the penguin. Oh man,
this is the best one. I think.
Yeah, it's
Riddler's really good too.
It's pretty horrible. Oh my gosh.
So that's what I spend my time doing.
Yep, so it was good use of your time.
Yeah.
So there you go, Mrs. Red Richard.
I hope you're happy.
I hope you're happy.
Created these monstrosities.
Oh, gosh. All right, so in all seriousness, what is your favorite monster that you've created to date?
Mine were those. Those are my favorite
Yeah, those are his favorite monsters that he's created. That's tough, because, for example, the Blood Oiler is really the iconic monster for the Clockworld setting, and it's one of my favorites, and I use it in like half the playtests.
Yeah.
But I think the one that entertains me the most is the Kentucky Sawbones, because it's the strangest of the monsters that I've made.
Yeah.
And we got to fight that. Daniel the Dev, who's probably in chat somewhere right now, he ran a session for like the internal test group, where we got to fight a Kentucky Sawbones, and they're a sentient swarm of severed left arms that possess people's left arms that try to like stab them and kill themselves with them, and it's just, they're really gnarly.
It was such a weird,
yeah, it's
creepy
super
creature
weird. And you know, we fought it in a tavern with a bunch of civilians, and so there were people whose arms were getting possessed, and it was super chaotic, and it was a lot of fun. So that's probably my favorite that I've made, even if I haven't featured it a lot in the tests and so forth. So that's a good question. Okay. Okay, so Isaac over at the STS podcast, for Peter, what was the inflection point where you realized you wanted to make a system for your ideas? I was actually, it was many, many years ago, I was reading Cyberpunk 2020 rules, the one that came out in the late 90s, the one that has the artwork that is the creator whose name I'm blanking on. It's his action figures that he took pictures of. It's like this coolest, if you can track down a copy of this book, it's amazing. And I wanted to play a crunchy role-playing game, Western role-playing game, using firearm rules and such.
Yeah.
And I just actually really liked that rule set, even though it was terrible, because that was the initial idea to make my own. But I kept putting down the idea and iterating on it, then setting it down for years and years and years. When the first question was potatoes, followed... Oh, did I miss one for somebody on here? I'll go back to that for a second.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. I missed it. I'll come back to that. So years fast forward, and then during the pandemic, I was actually talking to Tim, and he said, you should just finish that Clockworld game you're working on. I said, okay. And then I started taking it more seriously and built a 200-page complete game for internal testing, ran it for a year or two internally, iterating on it, and then launched a YouTube channel, and here we are.
Yeah, I do take all the credit.
Yeah, he takes all the credit. Just saying, like, hey, you should finish finally. That. So yes, my bad, twin. Potatoes? ? Potatoes are wonderful. What is your favorite form of potato?
Favorite form of potato? It's always the hardest question.
I know, because potatoes are awesome.
Recently, I had just some good baked potatoes, and it's been a while, and
baked
put
potato.
All the different good toppings on it.
All right.
But tots are always great.
The tots, yeah. I mean, fries are going to be mine.
Fries are great.
I judge burger places based on the quality of their fries a lot, because if they mess up the fries, I don't trust anything else they do. Yeah. So great question.
Can't do anything right.
Worst homebrew you've made or played with? Worst. That's... Well, so Tim has played in some of my D&D homebrew, but that was great.
Yeah.
So honestly, some of the worst homebrew has been my own when I first started out in D&D in particular, because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, when you start out in D&D, you're a teenager sometimes, and you adapt like stuff from edgy animes or movies you watch. So I made a custom class in D&D 3.5 that was based on the movie The Hunted, starring Benicio del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones. It was a class based on the Southeast Asian Kali knife fighting style. It was horrible. Like, it was all just bad. So that's been pretty bad. I play... it's funny. So in the regular D&D group that I'm in, it is my favorite homebrew that I know a lot of people would also really dislike, because... one of the main dungeon masters there, he knows that I like all the logistics and tracking stuff in D&D. So, like, I will be in an adventure where I'm tracking every pound of food and water that we're bringing out into the wilderness. Like, I'm the guy who does that. So that's like... Oh, God. But for some people, that would be an absolute nightmare. But the DM knows, if you're watching, I love that stuff. And I find it actually quite immersive, that level of simulations sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you've really only played... You've played earlier versions of Tales from Elsewhere that weren't working super well, but we wouldn't call that maybe bad homebrew.
No. It was game design.
I did play in a fairly lengthy campaign that was a homebrew campaign where... I haven't played with this person in many, many years, but it was a political intrigue campaign where the whole world was in jeopardy and there were all these political powers. But the entire world's ideology as a whole, in aggregate, was a reflection of the DM's somewhat pessimistic or cynical view on the way people work together on things. So everything was very tit for tat, very zero-sum game. Like, there wasn't room to be, like, morally good in that world, and it felt really frustrating that we couldn't convince anybody unless we, like, appealed to their greed. It was like a world that didn't seem responsive to anything but one ideology. So that was not a fun homebrew.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah, that was frustrating. Thank you, Twin Steel, for catching that I missed those questions. So now we'll do... Okay, so Isaac then had a second part of his question for both. Tell us a real-life adventure from your youth. Why don't you start, Tim?
My family. So I've known Peter. He's known me my whole life.
I have. I was there when he was born.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Wait, I've known your family since you were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Daniel, the other dev, has known Peter since elementary
first
or something
grade,
like
that? Yeah, first grade or something.
But anyway, our family always goes camping every year. We go up in California, up north to some nice, beautiful redwoods, and we would always go on fun, crazy hikes. And this is one where we both were. Peter's not.
Oh, the river hike is what we're talking about, right?
Doing lots of hard work and exercise.
At
the time you weren't. You're better now.
Yeah, but my dump stat is Constitution.
Yeah,
for everybody's
So we spent,
edification.
I don't know, 4 hours hiking up the river. I think we brought a little bit of snacks, maybe. I don't know.
I brought one granola bar and one small bottle of water.
We weren't prepared to go as far as we went, and then
I asked them, guys. Okay, I asked them, how long is this hike? Not that long, they said. A few hours, they said.
it was a few
We
hours.
left in the morning. By the time I get back to camp, it was dark. That's how long I was up there. I have some nutritional needs. So basically, my blood sugar level cratered on the hike, and I was passing out on the trail. It was wild.
Yeah, half of us already hiked back to get food to come back and rescue Peter and everyone, and you ran into rattlesnakes.
There was a rattlesnake. Yeah, your dad was somebody had to stay back with me because I was barely conscious.
Yeah,
it was insane.
So half of us hustled back down the river, I think, and just tried to get peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
and I was
Miles
resuscitated.
Was there.
Yep, Miles was there. But yeah, the hike
wild.
was also a river hike, which means you're wearing usually lighter gear because you need to swim for part of it.
Yeah,
you're wearing water shoes, swim trunks, something light. And much of the hike is bouldering and then swimming across, fording the river, going back and forth through a beautiful ravine that no one goes, right? It's not a trail.
No one up there.
It eventually leads to a mountain trail, but it is absolutely gorgeous and wonderful. But I learned a lesson about making sure I handle my nutritional needs and never trusting other people's estimates on how long a hike is.
Yeah, well, especially don't trust our estimate.
Never trust the
easy hike.
Yeah, that's
easy
great.
12-mile hike, no big deal.
Yeah, so that's one that we had together actually.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Lots of camping, hiking, a lot of fun stuff.
I haven't been able to go back camping in a while, but I absolutely love it. I'm permanently connected to computers and devices all day, and I love going there and just shutting off the phone. Turning off all devices. I just turn the phone back on once a night to call my wife and check in with her, and that's it.
Just away from technology. Always so nice.
Yeah, and I saw sounds like a beautiful hike. Water probably was an issue even more. Yeah, so I mean, swimming in freezing mountain water also drains your vitality a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so next we have from Spirit Possum, we have, will or do you plan on having a solo mode? What and when was the first 3 games you both ever played that you remember tabletop? Well, let's do that first one first. So, will there be a solo mode? So solo mode, I've been talking a lot with some people about this recently. I have no experience with solo mode, either playing or building it. Mm-hmm. However, in chats with Red Richard, who is a super fan, awesome guy, he was the first patron even, and he's been helping me a lot with design, that the rule structure in TFE is actually quite conducive to solo play because the monsters have almost a script that they can follow. They have behaviors very much built in, and so many of the roles and rules are player-facing to begin with. It is something I want to explore. It would be a separate module that I would release, probably in PDF form, to accompany the main book. There's just not time or bandwidth to include that in the core rules, but I actually really want to look into that. I think that'd be very cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's become increasingly popular too. Solo modes.
I haven't really played many, but I'm into board games more. So a lot of solo or cooperative board games are fun as well. Mm-hmm. But I think that'd be cool because it would work in your system. You know what everything is.
Yeah, you know what the target numbers are based on how far away something is, and the monsters. All it would take was a very simple flow chart of how each monster would behave. Mm-hmm. You write an adventure, and it'd be
Yeah, Tale from Elsewhere.
Yeah, Tale from Elsewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's something I am looking into, but it would not be something that would be delivered this year. It would probably be next year at the earliest.
Yeah, gotta get the book out.
I see Piotr. Wasn't Fording a River a one-shot at Gen Con? Yeah, there is a one-shot at Gen Con that's called The River Crossing.
Yeah, he's got inspiration.
Yeah.
Real life inspiration.
What and when was the first 3 games you both ever played that you remember in tabletop? So I have I've been playing longer than Tim has, of course. When
he's an old man.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
I'm young.
When I was a teenager, I was in Wisconsin visiting some family, and my first exposure was to the brand new 3rd edition 3.0 Player's Handbook. A cousin of mine ran it for myself and some family members, and it was absolutely a blast. And that was the first game I ever played. And then I went home and bought the books and introduced it to all my friends, including Tim's family. And so that was definitely the first role-playing game that I played. So I'm not one of the original Redbox players, but I have been playing now since the year 2000, roughly.
Yeah, I mean...
Gosh, the first 3 games.
I only got into it because you...
Yeah, I introduced it to Daniel, and then,
so
you got in.
I think my first was 3.5, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know if you played with 3.0, because you would have been like 10 years old. You would have been like a kid. And we were teenagers not hanging out with you. Yeah, so you probably played 3.5, because 3.5 only came out 2 or 3 years after that, and by then you would have been a teenager.
Yeah.
Gosh, and then the next... I mean, I was mainly a D&D player at first, but I played... a big favorite of mine early on was Mutants and Masterminds, because I do like superheroes a lot. And actually Marvel Universe role-playing game, which I released a video about how awful it is.
Great game.
But those are the 3 that really stuck out to me early on. And then I played each D&D edition afterward. I never ran Mutants and Masterminds or Merpig for the friends down here, so I don't think you would have ever been exposed to that.
We did a fun... what was it? One like D20 Future, one of those or something when Daniel ran.
We did D20 Modern,
yeah.
which was in the 3rd edition, 3.5 edition days, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, just the modern setting, and it was fun.
Yeah, that's just the D20 based system there.
Yeah,
I
play whatever you guys are playing, and that's it. So I don't know, haven't done a ton.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see, Dear Peter, what TTRPG inspired you to create your own? The initial inspiration was, and this is from Lorenzi. So, hey, Lorenzi, I don't know if you're still in chat, but it was actually Cyberpunk 2020. And if you read that rule set, the one that released in originally like 1998, it's kind of awful.
It's awful.
But it has like, one of your stats is the cool stat, and I thought that was awesome. It was just super crunchy, and I was in a super crunchy mindset. And then over time, I started iterating and making my own. And coincidentally, at that same time that I was working on this just on my own is when Blades in the Dark released by John Harper. And in hindsight, but I didn't even hear about Blades in the Dark at the time. And had I had Blades in the Dark in my hand, I think I would have fast forwarded a lot of my design ideas, because it would have shown me the potential of wounds and abstractions that weren't hit points earlier. And it took me a lot longer to find my own wound system that it then ended up making TFE like something worth playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say...
What did someone ask about? Oh, Munchkin? Where was that? Who said that? Yeah, we used to play a lot of Munchkin.
Oh, board game-wise, yeah, I mean...
We played the crap out of Munchkin.
Until we got rid of it. We hated each other, yeah.
We got in...
Catan was a big one. That was when I was in college, is when Catan was hitting the...
We played so much Catan, yeah.
Yeah, Catan was really good. One of our favorite camping games has always been Betrayal at the House on the Hill, or whatever the actual name is. I always butcher it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Yeah, that's an excellent camping game.
A lot of replayability.
Okay, next question is from The Spider for both Peter and Tim. What was the first RPG you truly loved, not liked, not really enjoyed, loved with every fiber of your freaking being? 3.5 D&D was that for me. I bought every book. I was the forever DM at the time. Like, I never got to play, but I would just stay up late. I'm like a teenager at the time, right? And I'd stay up late making characters, like with really obscure builds from all the different Splat books that I owned that I would never get to play, because I was just super into it. I loved the absurd, not even crunch of 3.5, but just the open-ended lack of balance that there was in that game. It was all over the place, and it was fun to try to break. Like, I was on the old Wizards of the Coast forums, like the forums where people would come up with their broken builds. So I absolutely loved it back in the day. I got super into it.
Yeah. Mine's obviously Clockworld, you know.
Oh, yeah. But
if you haven't heard about it, Clockworld is a great game.
It's a great game. Maybe you've heard of it.
My favorite was 4th edition.
Yeah, 4E.
I feel like that's because I did a little bit of 3.5, like
Yeah.
I said, but 4E is when I fully played with all of you guys, and it was just, I really enjoyed it. Like, combat and everything was fun. And
Yeah. I don't know if Cybrock is in the chat right now or not, but, he's a big 4E stan. Yeah, 4E was great. I'm glad people these days are coming to appreciate the good design aspects of 4E now that we've had some distance. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Related question. Was there a time that you stopped playing TTRPGs and then returned to the hobby, and what brought you back? Oh, yeah, I have a very clear answer for that. I wasn't playing actually a ton of RPGs in college, actually. I know a lot of people play a bunch of TTRPGs in college. I wasn't playing as much then. That's when my normal group of guys, like, we started petering out a bit on playing together. People were starting to move to different parts of the state or the country. And so there was a lull for a couple of years until I went on the looking for players, like, forums on Wizards of the Coast or something, and found a local group that I've now been going and playing with for like 15 years. And they're awesome. Super consistent group. So I've been consistently playing an RPG every other Friday for about 15 years. So I'm not like a 3 times a week kind of player, but really consistent every other week is what a bunch of old men can fit into their busy schedules with
like
wives and children.
Friday you play?
Yeah, super consistent every other Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I just come and go into them, so it just ran whenever.
He's not like one of us per se, guys.
No. So if ever Daniel or Peter runs one, I will join in if they'll have me,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what happens with a lot of folks is your original group becomes a diaspora, right? They spread out, and so you can't just meet up for pizza, on a Saturday night and play some D&D or whatever anymore, right? Everybody's gone. So
it's always better in person.
Always
it's so
better
much
in person.
more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Sabrock says, for Peter, how do you feel about the balance between designing a fruitful void oh boy, this is such a meaty question, versus the philosophy of games are about what they do? Oh man, this is a video on my list of ones to record. Nice. Okay, I'm going to try to answer this in brief.
All right, how much? You got a minute, Peter.
But this is a really, really good question, and one that takes a lot of unpacking, and so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But okay. The concept of the fruitful void is, the game you're playing in any different role-playing game session, there's these philosophical idea of, is it the rules on the page or the space between those rules that you and the other players are filling in yourselves? And I'm going to do probably a poor job articulating the fruitful void. There's an article about the fruitful void out there, but it's the guy who made Dogs in the Vineyard, and I think it's the same guy that made Powered by the Apocalypse originally. He talks about the concept of a fruitful void, that by purposefully leaving... Here's a good example. You could have a game that is entirely about political intrigue and have very few rules governing the resolution of political intrigue. But the game itself is about that space there that you then build with the other players. And anyway, this is really complicated and really interesting. I personally, Vincent Baker, yeah, I believe so, Travis. Thank you. This is the kind of things that I do a little research on before I start recording, because that's the stuff I can't remember. So I am more in a game is about the system that it creates, because I'm a system guy. And that's just my personal tastes. That's not to say the fruitful void is a bad way to design, but I personally err middle to, going off frame, in the middle over to system side, if I had to put myself somewhere. But this is on my list of dedicated videos that I will be making, by the way. So you'll have to wait, I think, for me to give a full treatise on this, because it's a very nuanced and interesting subject. But as always, it's not right or wrong on either of these. I favor systems over being kind of on the emptier side. Like, I think a game like Cyborg is too much leaving it open. I think they've not mechanicized enough, and it is too rules short. Like, it doesn't have enough meat on its bones. That's my opinion on that.
Yes.
Yeah,
wait for the video.
Wait for the video. That's a really, like, that'll be hard to make just 20 minutes even. Like, that's a really meaty subject. Okay, from Frostros. For Peter, will digital dice for more precise game design, like, say, using a D30, become more popular over time? Oh. Okay, so the very quick rant about this is I don't like funny dice in person. So if you're not one of the core 7 polyhedrals, get out of here.
That's all you need.
And if you put funny stuff on that die, like Genesis System, it drives me nuts. And I really did like Genesis System. I liked Edge of the Empire, but I had to buy a bespoke set of the same sided dice that I already owned. They were just different colors and symbols, and they weren't cheap.
That game needs a lot of dice.
And you need a lot of them. I had to buy 2 sets, and that wasn't enough for medium to high level play in it. Drove me kind of nuts. Anyway, to the point of your question, in digital you don't even have to have dice, right? But that's starting to get right. Your resolution could be any. You could have 1 to 13. That's not a die size. You can find 30-sided dice, physical dice. Those do exist.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You can find. There's a bunch of really weird ones that you can find. What is it? Dungeon Crawl Classics. Somebody maybe correct me in there. Doesn't DCC use all the odd? They use the funny polyhedrals. If I remember, somebody can correct me on that. It's one of the OSR ones. So will they become more popular over time? I actually don't think so. Not, and the reason being is there's a push and pull in tabletop space. As things become increasingly digital, there are a large category of people that want increasingly analog, and these pull on each other. And so I don't see, and because most people want to have a game that could be used in either space, I don't see it changing significantly over time. DCC, yes, thank you, thank you, Daryl. Yeah, the weird die sides. Yeah, I can never remember. I get DCC mixed up with Old School Essentials, and I know that's heresy to say that, but just like the book covers swap in my mind. So no, but I'm also a big analog guy, so I may not be the best one to like portend where the digital games will go, because that's not where I prefer to design. Nothing against it, but it's not what I prefer. For Peter, but we'll answer both of this, I think. What is your favorite non-alcoholic drink? I'll let you start. I need a drink of water.
Non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic drink.
I don't drink anything unless it has alcohol in it, so just kidding. Just kidding. That's a good question. I haven't really been a fan of sodas for a long time. Water. I agree, Blaze.
Water's
like,
water.
Drink a
water.
bunch of these.
Yeah.
Drink 2 or 3 of these a day. Other than that, I literally don't drink. I drink yerba mate a lot.
Sure.
I like that for the caffeine. Mountain Dew is the best soda of all. Yes, Mountain Dew is the best.
Diet Dew. I just saw somebody.
I have done the sugarless Mountain Dew. It's
Mountain Dew's
not
so
terrible.
gross.
No, it's the best. But yeah, water is my go-to always.
Yeah, you're not a huge coffee drinker, are you?
I have been lately.
Yeah, I've been lately, yeah. I'd say, if I set water aside, coffee is what I drink the most. I drink only 3 things. Water, coffee, and like whiskey. It's like the 3 things, but I mostly just drink water all day, every day.
Yeah.
I'm just a big water drinker.
I don't drink tea much. Only if I'm sick, I'll drink some hot cup of tea.
I'll sometimes end the evening with a chamomile. Nice, relaxing.
Nice, But for tea, I don't know. It's always so warm here. I don't really like the hot drinks as much. So I drink iced coffees. I like those a lot.
As a gag all you want, it supported entire campaigns. Mountain Dew. Yeah, I remember those days. Everybody else would be drinking Mountain Dew, and I wouldn't, because I've always found it really gross.
Smoothies are delicious. Yes.
Yeah, smoothies are nice.
I need to start making more.
I've been doing, when I can, I've been trying to get things like celery ginger juices are really, really good. I drink a first half of the day is a lot of coffee because I stay up really late every night working on this stuff and gotta log into my day job.
Yeah, I do need the coffee to
listen to
Peter's
me
videos over and over.
Yeah, like
again.
imagine listening to just a chunk of those videos for like 3 hours straight over and over again. I don't know how Tim does it.
I have to keep going back to sections because I'm trying to get the timing right, and sometimes I have to step away. Like, Peter, I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah, then you have to talk to me about it. Yeah. Coffee. My brother, who recently moved back to the same town as me, is really into coffee and really knowledgeable, and so I've been going with him to try various coffee shops in the city in which we currently are.
There's a lot.
And so that's been really cool to kind of learn from him, because he's a coffee snob in that way. He knows a lot about it.
Water's key.
Water's king.
Yeah.
See, for anyone, as a European kid growing up on Lucky Luke, and Bud Spencer, Terrence Hill, and the Winnetou movies, I think I've seen a bunch of harmful stereotypes. I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Can you give some advice on how to portray the Clockworld equivalent of native North Americans as a player and as a GM? and I currently don't feel comfortable. Oh, and this is from Martin. Don't feel comfortable portraying these types of characters, but also don't want to erase them from the setting, which feels even more wrong itself.
Yeah, that's fair.
I absolutely understand this concern, and I feel like I can speak about this at this point. So, yeah, if you go back and watch the cartoon Lucky Luke, or go watch some old John Wayne films, they are full of extremely harmful stereotypes about Native Americans, indigenous people of northern Mexico, and the First Nations of Canada. Awful stereotypes. Very awful. Oh, and thanks, Elder Goblin Games. Thanks, Jordan. I just saw you pop in. So these are very harmful. And honestly, one of the best ways to break away from those harmful stereotypes is to ingest good content written by and about indigenous people. So over the last couple of years, I've actually been reading tons of books written by Native Americans telling stories about themselves. So getting perspectives from them, not these harmful external perspectives, is a great way to start internalizing the proper, the trueness of them as a culture. But in the end, any culture you're not a part of that you want to portray, the key is to come at it from a perspective of strength and power. What I mean by that is portray them in a good way, at their best, and in a way that is realistic. And what I mean by that is not everybody is just a person, like, in the whole world. And as somebody who's now read a bunch of first account mythology from Native American people, mostly from the turn of the century up to the 70s, everybody's just as weird and silly and horny and goofy as everybody else is. Like, their stories have fart jokes. Like, everybody's the same. And so identifying that if you're going to have like a Native American person, or maybe you're in America and you want to portray the Celts or something, I don't know, pick whatever external culture, it's to remember that everybody's just a person and have all the same flaws and traits and foibles that we all do. Yeah. And to not present people as archetypes, as like the stoic native or something like that. Avoid that. Just tell a true story in that perspective. So read some books. Eventually, I do want to post a reading list either in the Discord or on YouTube of all the stuff I've read. I'm currently reading a book by Stephen Graham Jones, who's Native American. He writes horror, Native American horror, and it's awesome. So it's really good. It's very intense. So that's the best way to do it, is start immersing yourself in the more positive, not positive stereotypes, but positive stories, or stories from them, not external people telling you about them. That's my high-level recommendation on that. But as always, it's just be cool, like, about it, right? Just be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good question. I totally understand it. Yeah, Lucky Luke. My Mrs. the Sheriff remembers watching Lucky Luke as a kid too. It like stuck out to her in her mind. But not a lot of people, I think, here in the USA watched it.
No.
Anyway,
no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's just. This is a full of harmful stereotype Western cartoon from like the 70s originally, maybe. Okay, Lorenzia says, "Dear editor, what was the trickiest thing you edited, either for Peter's content, your own, or someone else's?" And I don't know how much you can talk about your main client on this channel. I don't know. I'm not familiar with whatever you have signed with them.
I wish I knew what I signed too.
Yeah, so we can maybe not name them, but you could talk about something for that if that was challenging.
Yeah, nothing's been really challenging with TFE YouTube channel, except for me taking on too much work and trying to finish these videos on time, or else Peter will, he'll hurt me.
Yeah, feed you to the Oilers.
Yeah. The most difficult thing I've edited or worked on was interactive content, interactive media. So I know there's like I think Black Mirror did an episode on Netflix where you had some interactions, and I think there was like a Bear Grylls one or something. So you actually select options and the video goes in whichever direction you pick. So I worked on some I did some kids Walmart-y ones for like holiday gift buying.
Oh, I remember.
They're silly and ridiculous, but you have to have the right mindset and crazy organization because it's node trees.
Yeah.
You're
the
branching out, and
man.
it has to make sense where it goes. And it was just every day hurt my brain. I was like, wait, is this going to flow right if you click this?
That's some game design right there. That's game design.
Yeah, it is a game. And so you have all the different endings you can go to and just how you get there based off picking, is this like I think it said one was like a girl's toy or boy's toy. 'cause
Right,
it's
and then
Walmart,
already
you know.
immediately forks. Yeah, and they have to put people
Yeah.
into the pink and blue
Yeah,
categories.
yeah,
They
like
have
they
to.
always do.
Yeah.
But that
brutal.
was the most challenging and the most fun I've had, like, because it is so creative and different, and it didn't take off. It's not going to go anywhere, but that kind of stuff, that content, I don't think is ever going to. No one wants, if they're watching shows, they want to watch. They don't usually.
Yeah,
want
they don't want to
interact
have
with
to
it
be
unless
fiddling
you're
with
playing
something.
a video game. But
Yeah, they have to really buy into that.
yeah, that was the most fun I've done.
Is usually the content
artist.
you get for main client, is it like one big block of voice that you have to just
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah,
is that
so-
pretty hard to do?
Yeah, my day to day is they send me a voiceover or someone on screen, and there's like add all the B-roll footage over it. So most of it is about video games, video game reviews, and all that kind
Is
of stuff.
a major video game reviewing
There's only
website
some main video
didn't
game
work
launch.
for? Didn't work for.
But
They
yeah,
can find your name when it says edited by if they're really
Yeah.
careful on some of them. Right?
Yeah, so they just send me voiceover and I add B-roll. So one of the last ones I worked on was just like a review for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. And they just sent me some recorded video of the gameplay, and I just add it over and make it interesting.
Yeah, you get a bunch of clips from games that aren't out yet or movies that aren't
Yeah,
out yet,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You get a lot of access to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you want the video that we did for action horror about like Predator and Aliens,
Yeah.
that's probably closer to what you would do for that
Oh, yeah,
client.
yeah.
Right, where it's just the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, we just take as much footage that fits whatever they're talking about, put it in, and
Yeah.
somehow they get away with using everything. I don't know.
Yeah. I just saw Jorban just said, I've got a TFE cameo in my 5-room dungeon video tomorrow. No joke, Jorban, when you sent that clip to me, I watched it over and over and over again. It was cracking me up so much. I cannot wait for your video to come out. It's going to be...
Peter did show me, and it was amazing.
I showed it was
great.
amazing. It made me so happy, like smiling ear to ear on that. So that was a great question, Lorenzi, for Tim the editor.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Vase over with Left for the Vultures. Oh, hey, I don't know if he's in chat right now. Question: with Clockworld being the first setting for Tales from Elsewhere, what other types of setting are you envisioning for the game? Not looking for specific info, more looking for the range of settings. Oh, don't worry, I've got specific info,
got it
buddy.
all.
So I am overflowing with ideas, and that's one of the most frustrating things. Is I've got this day job that makes it slow to provide these.
And we only have one Peter.
And there's only one of me
We need a lot more.
right now. I just watched Mickey 17, so I gotta make myself into
That was
multiples.
excellent. I love that film.
Oh, he is in there. Hey, buddy. I see he left. Vase is in there for Left for Vultures.
Hey.
So yes, I have a number of settings just to list off rapid fire the ideas I already have that actually have some fairly big legs to them. A medieval setting is probably the next one, almost certainly. There is a science fiction setting. There is a modern setting. There is a pirate setting, so like Age of Piracy. I have a Mad Max inspired setting. And I've actually just been talking with Daniel the Dev, who may still be in chat. We want to do one inspired by Mouse Guard, Mouse Ritter, Secret of Nim. Would be so flippin'
That would
fun
be fun
to do. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun. So he's here. So we've got all these ideas, just overflowing with ideas for these games. We also want to produce hybrid settings that would be more like small products, like guidance on taking the medieval setting with magic and adding it to the Western setting, and now you have the anime Outlaw Star, which I loved back in the day.
Yeah.
All sorts of cool stuff like that, or taking the modern setting and adding the magic setting to get more of like an urban arcana. So,
yeah, because the main system is going to be the through line in
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
books, and each one will add like something new. So like the medieval one, I don't know what more.
there's magic rules
yeah,
for
the
that.
magic rules. So you got to write magic rules, and it's going to be so cool
They'll be
to be able
layering.
to combine them all.
Yep, because really, part of the design goals of the core system is it's easy to hack and make into your own setting. I'm actually what I'm almost more excited to see is what other people start doing with it. Because like I talk a lot to Red Richard and his clan, and he already homebrews stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's actually really easy to homebrew your own content for the game because the math is so linear and it doesn't scale upward all that much. It keeps all the math really easy, making it fairly simple to make your own content.
Miles wants a Bloodborne setting.
Bloodborne setting.
That'd be
okay,
great.
add it to the list.
It's on there.
I love Bloodborne. I know it wouldn't be that hard. It's all.
That would be fun. Bloodborne setting. Even more brutal than it
Yeah, I
already is.
mean, yeah, Bloodborne is already gnarly. Oops, I lost the question. Okay, here we go. Sorry, the tablet interface on this kind of sucks.
That is Discord after
Yeah,
all.
like what is? I want to make the side thing go away here. Well, anyway. Okay, this is also a really old tablet. All right, that was a great question. For Peter, you described Clockworld as post-apocalyptic setting. Do you have any ideas, rumors on how that happened? Yes, but I'm a firm believer in the concept of to define is to make mundane. And so I want to leave some aspect of this open-ended so that any individual GM can choose to fill in the details that they want.
I like that.
But the theme is always man's overreach is going to be a cause of an apocalypse. And this will be a theme throughout each of the settings in all likelihood, is that man will have reached to be, their reach exceeds their grasp, I think is the saying, and has touched elsewhere in some capacity and has then torn the veil between reality. Yeah. Now, what the details of that might be will vary setting to setting, and the theory in fiction in Clockworld, like what people believe, is some people believe that it was man's technological reach. They reached too far, and it caused an apocalypse. But there's also people that believe that it was man's sins that brought it about. There are theories within the setting as to the exact details. But I like having in fiction theories, like you said, rumors and theories, rather than saying this is exactly how it worked. So, yeah. There's like evidence you can find out in the world that technology breached elsewhere. Like, we've seen reactors. When you find these pre-apocalypse reactors that are leaking, they leak like elsewhere energy and it starts mutating you.
So weird.
I know, and it's really awful. Like, we've been in fights where it's like, you start mutating rapidly and it's really awful. That's good stuff. Zachary from Peasantry RPG, who I haven't seen in chat quite yet. For Peter, when will we get more unhinged movie rants?
It's not time.
Well, okay. No spoilers. I was ranting in the Discord about Andor Season 2. I really like Andor. I'm like a Star Wars fan. But Andor Season 2 was very poorly paced and edited, and it's one of the things that drives me the most insane. Most people will look past this, but editing. The Andor Season 2 was 4 hours of content spread over 10 hours, is how I would maybe describe it. From an editing standpoint. It's not even that the content is bad. Like, I like a lot of the content. But I'm somebody with very little time to ingest shows. And so when they're poorly paced and edited, it's like, makes me want to fast forward.
I really don't think editing is that important, Peter.
Yeah, I mean...
Come on.
Editing is everything.
It's Star Wars. What else do you need?
Yeah, and like, to be clear, I think Andor is some of the best content that Star Wars has put out in a long time. Like, I love Season 1 of Mandalorian, but you can see how, like, the subsequent seasons of Mandalorian started to struggle with their editing and writing as well, from keeping the same pacing through line as the others. Again, I love Diego Luna, and I like Andor a lot. I really like Rogue One, but I thought the second season's pacing was off.
I still got to finish it. Only one
It's still good. Like, it's still obviously worth watching.
The first season was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is like a huge pet peeve of mine. It turns me off from something super fast.
Yeah.
So Red Richard in response to Zachary's question just now, he said, "I can see it now. It's like 6.8 hours later. Peter's still ranting about movies."
Yep, it just keeps going.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay. Isaac just had asked, should I watch Alien Romulus and Karate Kid Legends at the same time? And will they like sync up? Like, I would have to try that. That'd be really funny.
Definitely.
Let's see here. And then Daniel had said, all in favor of Peter starting a second channel dedicated solely to unhinged movie rants. I was the only one that said no. Everybody else said yes.
So we'll make that happen.
This is not a democracy.
I'll make it happen. Don't worry.
Right. Okay. So, Frank at What Is Tabletop? And I don't know if Frank or Charles are in here at the moment, but they're awesome. Hey guys, if you're watching this later, you've talked about this being your burnout year, but what are the plans for you and this channel after the Kickstarter is backed? Also, Charles and I can't wait to see you at Gen Con. Yeah.
Gen Con.
Tim is also going to be at Gen Con. We're going to be at Gen Con. We're going to be filming B-roll and everything.
A camera in your face if you come up to me. You might make it on Peter's YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. So, burnout year. For those that don't know, back before I launched this YouTube channel in late August, I had this plan called Burnout Year. I was going to launch a YouTube channel, and 1 year from then, I'm going off camera, 1 year from then, I was going to launch a Kickstarter campaign for my game. With the intention being I'd go all in on this. Like, make sure that how did I put it to myself? I will not fail to get my game backed on crowdfunding for lack of effort, was what I told myself. Like,
that's great.
No effort will be left on the table. The intention being to reach 500 subscribers after 1 year, which is above average on YouTube. And obviously we've done much better than that because we're at 4,000 at about 8 months.
That's so crazy.
It's been crazy. So it's gone very well. So Burnout Year is lasting until end of August, early September, about when the Kickstarter is going to launch. We have not said the specific date yet, but around that time. And after the crowdfunding is complete, Burnout Year will be over. And what does that mean? It just means that we maybe won't be releasing a video every week. We'll maybe do every other week at that point. Basically, I'm burning the midnight oil now to maintain a schedule, and we may walk that schedule back at that time, simply because I'm like, you know, I'm burning it at both ends right now to make this happen, and that's okay because I was prepared for it. But it's not the kind of thing I would want to sustain for more than 1 year. I don't think that'd be healthy for me to sustain for more than 1 year.
You don't sleep.
I don't. Yeah, so it's like there's that meme of like, what could I fit in here? There's the guy with the blocks, and he's like just pulling the sleep block out to put in something. That's like me. I'll be pulling back on a lot of the content creation, not a lot, some of the content creation, but I'll still be very active in the Discord, and I'll be putting more of my energy into getting the game edited and completed.
Into your hands.
Into your hands. Yep, it'll be getting it into your hands, getting all the art in. So it'll be a slower pace that I'll be going at. So yeah, it's been, I still have so many. I have enough video ideas right now to last like another 6 months easily without writing a single other video idea. So it's definitely not lack of content. It's just a pace that I could healthily maintain long term.
Yeah, Peter does need a vacation after this.
I know I'm going to need a vacation from my hobby.
Yeah,
because I still also have a day job. For those that may don't know, I have a full-time job that I must be maintaining as well.
I don't know how you do it. But lack of sleep.
Yeah, lack of sleep. Yeah, lack of sleep.
That's how.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this was Javan or Javon. I actually don't know how to pronounce this. He had this question of what type of player are you? Are you a gamer, role player, both, or neither?
Oh, yeah.
I answered that I'm both. I'm a big systems guy, but I really get into role playing. What would you say?
I had selected both as well.
You selected both. Okay.
Because it's fun getting into the game and learning the rules and getting into it, and then also being that character you are.
Yeah, just telling funny stories without even the rules necessarily.
And I mean, my favorite one so far that I've played is
it's like 4th edition.
4th edition. No. Oh my, Peasantry.
Oh, Peasantry.
If you want to role play, Peasantry.
Yeah, play Peasantry. Oh Peasantry's awesome.
It's hilarious.
I talk about that
such a good time.
So good. And that has very little game system and very little role, and a lot more of the role play. I mean, there's a solid structure underneath it.
But it was that was a hilarious game.
Yeah, it's so good.
But yeah, I like a mix of both. I think is fun.
That's getting in and role playing is something like the group of people that I play with has never really struggled with.
Yeah.
Okay, next one from Danderskoff. For Tim and Peter, what have been a few failures you guys have gone through as progress for working on the game or other projects? Something I've recently been thinking about is that failure is part of progress, just like iteration. Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't fail at anything.
No, I'm
like,
perfect.
He's crushing it. But I can say the version of the game, my game, that the public has seen, that you all have seen, is version I don't know how many. And I do want to do like maybe a live stream at one point showing like the stack of versions of this game. I've taken a version of the game and run it for like my friends and just come away with like, well, that doesn't work at all.
Yeah, there's lots of that.
And honestly, the game we're seeing now wasn't even something I would have considered worthy of showing people until the injury system was built. And that was built years into my iterative process. So it started out just using hit points, and then I had a hybrid, like you had your vitality and your hit points as 2 separate meters. I just kept iterating on it. And eventually Daniel had said to me, just make a wound system of some sort work, like make something else work. And so I did. And so, there's a elephant's graveyard of failed character sheets and versions of this game, some of which were insanely crunchy, like so crunchy, for no good reason. I wrote, I think, a 120-page version of the rulebook that was entirely scrapped. Like, I had a fully playable game. This was back at one of my previous jobs, long time ago.
Yeah.
I wrote a full rule book. I was in a fugue state and just built this whole rule book. We played it once and we're like, this just isn't fun.
Yeah.
So it is okay to fail. That is absolutely absolutely part of the process. Yeah. And having a group of friends or people you're working with that are willing to tell you when it's not fun. Because I wasn't necessarily asking people to tell me how to design it. We were trying to figure out, was this enjoyable to play? Taking it to my buddies who aren't hardcore TTRPG players, did they have fun? Because I'm a pretty good DM. I'm not like a top tier. I'm good. So if I can't make the rule system fun for it's not going to be good, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely, failures all the way down.
Yeah, there hasn't really been any failures on my end for at least Tales from Elsewhere. It's luckily Peter sets it up all easy for me, and it's straightforward. Yeah. And
we've had some videos not perform as well as we thought they were going to, but that's more of a YouTube thing than an our quality thing.
The algorithm.
Honestly, the action horror video about movies, I love that video. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Really I rewatch it myself, and it's one of the poorer performing main videos we've done, simply because it's not what people necessarily show up to the channel for. So
it's also just the game of YouTube, the thumbnails. Peter still makes all the thumbnails. I have not gotten to do it. It's just
it's awful. It's my least favorite part of content creation is making thumbnails. I absolutely hate it. Graphic design is not my passion. And for anybody else who's in the channel right now who is a content creator, it's rough. Yeah, and it takes a lot of time. So I'd consider some of that to be personal failures, is not marketing the YouTube channel maybe correctly. But overall, I'm not complaining. This has gone extremely well, and the community we've built has been awesome.
It is working so far.
Yeah, absolutely. From the top?
Maybe.
Nope.
No, okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the app is fighting me. Okay. Oh, and then somebody's asking, does burnout year have a meaning? We kind of talked about that.
Peter's burning.
Oh, and I see Martin says, is there anything we can do to help about burnout?
Nice.
No, thank you. Your support is everything. This is planned burnout. I'm ready for it. I'm handling it.
Yeah.
And we only have about 3.5 months left of burnout year, so I can make it to the end.
It's coming quick.
Okay. So we're almost done with the pre-written questions. Then we'll try to catch up maybe on questions and comments here. Yeah. And we're 1 hour in. So we have Jevin asks, for those of us who have seen the teasers of TFE, and this is to both of us, but not really touched it, when will be the best time for early adopters to dive in head first? It appears you are very close. Oh.
I mean, what you built so far is great. You can easily pick up and play the game with the playtest packet. It doesn't have everything, but it is very enjoyable at its current state.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's tough.
We're coming to Kickstarter soon.
Yeah.
You can wait till then.
So right now there is a playtest packet with quick start rules and a character creation slice. And the content there is a very, very small slice of what there is. There's one adventure, a single one-shot adventure in there, and that's very playable. And you can play the game. Excuse me. It's missing a ton of the extra rules and equipment and tons and tons of stuff, but it, as its core, is presenting the idea of the game. So that can be played right now. That's free on the Tales from Elsewhere website. It's great.
Yeah.
There's a link in the Discord server in the game materials channel. So it's already very playable. And for clarity, before I even launched this YouTube channel, there was already a 200-page rulebook, alpha rulebook that I had built that we were using to test. And I ran I ran 3 long-form campaigns with 3 different groups using it. It was a complete game. So the time between then and that year is refining all of that into a final manuscript. So the quick start that's out there is in between those two states. The 200-page alpha rules and what I would consider right now the final beta rules that I'm currently aggregating, which is approaching 200 pages already. So if you want to get a sample of the game, now's not a bad time. I know Red Richard runs community games frequently. Or between me and him, we try to at least run 1 or 2 games a month.
Yeah.
I do want to schedule some games that I'm going to run in June as well. Just got to find the time. So one of those is a great introduction. You show up with a pre-gen, or you can make your own character, and we just run a one-shot together, and it's a lot of fun. If you prefer to wait until you have something more substantive, the tentative plan is midway after the Kickstarter. Let's say we're successfully funded. Everybody who bought into the game will get the beta rules, which is an incomplete product for them to run and test. There will be beta testing. So everybody who bought the rules at the digital or higher tier is going to get like an early copy of it as well. But that will be down the line. It won't have the artwork, right? It'll just be for testing purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the core structures of the game are like super solidly built. None of that's going to change. We're really just in a wording and balancing phase at this time.
Yeah.
So jump in now if you want, or wait. It's all good.
But definitely try to get in one of the campaigns that are run by Red or
yeah. One of the sessions in the Discord. They're a lot of fun.
It'd be fun to try it out with them. They are excellent at what they do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very cool. But yeah, so the quick start, I like when Kickstarters give you a sample of what they're buying, right? And so the quick start is emblematic of the type of thing you're going to get. The final rulebook will just look a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And all the rules will be explained much better. All right, last one of the pre-sent questions from Masked Bandit. Peter and Tim, what, if any, are your favorite above dungeon mini games to play with players? Liar's Dice, Three Dragon Ante are 2 examples. I feel there is an untapped dimension of fun to be had that developers still don't typically consider when making math rock games. Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I was just mentioning this to you. We really like Liar's Dice.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
Game.
I have played Three Dragon Ante, and it's fun. I wasn't super into it when I tried it several years ago. We've actually played, not with you, but with the other group.
Yeah.
I think it's called Sabak. What is the game in fiction Star Wars? There's a card game they play. When we played in a Star Wars campaign using the Genesis system, we played that in a session because you can buy that game. It's an actual game that they made, and I didn't think it was great, but it was super immersive.
Yeah.
Maybe small teaser that we are exploring is we are exploring an in-fiction card game for Clockworld, potentially going to be something that you can play with a deck of cards. Sabak, I think that's right, yeah. So potentially there will be an above dungeon card game that exists in fiction in Clockworld that we will be presenting. We're still looking into it. I have played it. It was very cool.
I think it's viable.
It's a scope thing for the Kickstarter, so we're looking into it. So, but that kind of stuff is super immersive and fun.
It would fit very well.
It fits very well.
Deck of card game.
Yep, it's a poker-like game.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. No promises on that. We're looking into it.
Peter's already burnt out. Okay.
I can't add additional projects, right?
Yeah.
On top of the existing one. Okay, so that was the last of the pre-written questions. I'm just going to take a little heavy drink of water here, and we'll move maybe into chat and try to catch up. So now, anything that's said after Mike M just posted a question, we'll now do as live questions. So if you do have a question for us, try to do @Tales from Elsewhere so we see it separate from the chatter. And we'll just start with Mike M's in just a moment. Are you good? Good to keep going? You need a bio break?
Yeah.
Okay. Take 5. You go pop out a second. I'll stay on camera.
I'll be right back.
And because we've been going for 1 hour. Can't thank everybody enough who's hanging out in here right now. It means a lot to see that there's people sitting there at home or wherever you are and watching us chat. It's really cool. Oh boy, now the questions are coming in. Awesome. Well, while Tim's in the other room, I will answer that first question. That's because that's specifically for me. So Mike M asks, what advice do you have for others that are designing games? I was jokingly, check out this YouTube channel called Tales from Elsewhere. No, I do post a lot of advice about that. But in all seriousness, it is be okay with taking iterative approaches to design, not necessarily innovative approaches. I've seen a lot of designers get really hard on themselves about my game is kind of similar to this other game, and is anybody going to want to play it? Some of the best work overall that advances the tabletop hobby is iterating on the same idea. We put it through the works. It's okay to use a D20 rollover system for your game. If that's what's going to work for its design goals, don't bend over backwards to try to be innovative for its own sake. It's cool to, try to make something original, of course, but be comfortable with just picking what suits the game best, not necessarily what seems to have razzle-dazzle. Because you can always layer on top innovation and interest. I released a video not that long ago about this, but one of the great strengths of Zarek's game Indominant, a superhero game, is that it's mostly iterative design rather than huge leaps in innovation. And it means when you sit it in front of somebody who's played a lot of D20 games before, they immediately can onboard and play it. It requires like zero learning curve if they've played other D20 rollover systems. They just got to get on board with some of the extra resources and the way turns work and some of the action economy. But that familiarity is valid. Is valid. So that's my quick recommendation right now. Okay, next question. Oh, and I see Masked Bandit here. I've got a puzzle mini game I'll post in the Discord that most people have never experienced before.
Ooh,
awesome.
Puzzles.
Do it. Love it. So, I got a squirrel plays. Scrap from a squirrel plays. Scrap from a squirrel plays. I can't do your voice or your accent. I love it. He says, on a scale of wonderful to amazing, what would you rate a squirrel plays game nuts? Ooh, that's tough. So from wonderful to amazing, I will put
hard.
I'm going to put it at delightful. That's where I'll put it. On the scale of wonderful to amazing, I'll put it at delightful.
No, I'm going straight amazing.
Wow. Okay. Hot take.
Squirrels. What else do you need?
Yeah. In all seriousness, it is a very cool game. I like a modular game. It's a game built to be modular. You pick the level of crunch you want. You pick the level of complexity you want with built-in tiers. So you can use it for a crunchier, more like traditional game, or keep it super loosey-goosey. And I think that is smart design, Scrat. In all seriousness, I think that is a good way to approach game design. Tales from Elsewhere, how do you avoid burnout? Having a set time that you plan on pushing. So I'm a software developer by day. The concept of a sprint and some of that sort of development structure. I don't know if you ever have been part of projects that do sprints. It's like, anyway, they're bursts, right? It's bursts heading toward a specific goal.
Oh, okay.
It's having a concrete amount of time you're willing to really push and then giving yourself the space you need to recover from that. There's no way I would be as chipper as I am right now after 8 months of the level of work that I'm doing if it wasn't planned ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Burnout is bad, so it's scheduling your ability to push and then giving yourself time to recover is a healthy approach. Don't necessarily do a year of burnout, but you could do like, okay, this month,
Stints,
and set concrete goals that you want to achieve during that burnout phase, during the push phase. Not just like, I'm going to work as hard as I can. Know what you want to complete. I had a Trello board set up when we launched the YouTube channel of what I wanted to complete in the next year.
Yeah, that organization has been so helpful.
Plan it out.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't feel as much like burnout. It feels like the sprint. It's like running a sprint in real life. Like you know how long you need to go. You'll push and then you'll recover afterward.
I've had some jobs I've worked on that are literally you have to do an all-nighter because we're launching at like 8 a.m. this video. Yep. Get working. It's so draining. It's just one day, but still one day all night staring at this monitor trying to get these special effects going. It's just like, absolutely. It's so draining.
When like in my day job, sometimes I got to work weekends, nights and weekends. It happens due to the nature of the type of software developer I am and the job I work. And it's something when I'm working with my coworker, Zachary, that we need to accommodate. We plan around it. Sometimes I'll go visit him and we'll hang out and we'll order pizza and we'll plan on a burnout night. So it's keeping it under control, I think, is vital.
Controlled burn.
Okay. So what kind of day job does a game designer have? In my case, I am a professional software developer, but in reality, what I do is run meetings, explain things to people, answer emails, and occasionally code. Just my role is currently somewhat managerial. But my degree is in philosophy, but there wasn't a lot of money in that, so I switched gears, and I am a software developer at this point. And I have a really good job. I do. I work with one of my dearest friends, and I'm paid well, and it's a remote job, and it's wonderful. Oh, okay. Danderskoff, his thing got cut off here. My question was, what games would you consider collaborating with in a hypothetical... I scrolled.
Future.
Games that I would consider collaborating with. Oh, like other... Okay, spoilers. I am working on a video about Daggerheart, not because I want to play Daggerheart or that I'm the target audience of Daggerheart, but some of its design structures tickle my brain pleasantly. Its health abstraction, its way of doing hit points, I think only needs one little nudge to be a wound system, and that's something I'm looking into. But honestly, the other games that I want to interact with most are the ones from the community members that I'm meeting. I've realized how much more fun that is. Like I was talking to Zarek. I talk to Zarek all the time. Like he and I are buddies now. And I was telling him that his game Indominate wouldn't necessarily be my go-to superhero game. Simply because, hey, we've got the printed quick start.
They got the primer here.
Yeah, the primer. Awesome game. Like, and I was
So
telling
good.
him, like, I had an absolute blast running it and playing in it. But even if it's not the style of game I would prefer for a superhero game, like, it wouldn't be my go-to. But I was telling him, like, no knock against the game at all. Mm-hmm. Awesome game. But I love collaborating and talking about it because now I have a relationship with its designer. And so the people in the Discord server that I'm meeting, like just all these folks in there are super cool. And those are the kind of people that I want to interact with other games. I want to interact with their games. I try to plug not big products, but these other indie designers out there. Like Daggerheart's the biggest game that I'm probably going to be talking about simply because it's tickling my brain right now. So I got to make a video about it. But honestly, it's like y'all. The games you guys are making are the ones I want to hang with. Odin says, "What is your self-care routine? You look amazing." So that's one of our IRL friends there. Thank you. The biggest credit one can give for appearance is genetics. You have no control over this. Absolutely not. So
Lucked out.
everything, you rolled out. Like my charisma score is good, but again, my constitution score is really bad. But honestly, though, I credit Mrs. the Sheriff a lot for how healthy I am. She helps make sure I'm eating well and taught me how to take care of my skin to not, like, because I have really sensitive skin, like break out all the time. Yeah, but it's genetics. Greyline just says, hello, Greyline.
Hello.
Let's see here. Twice Dead Mage. At what point do you know this iteration of your game is ready to show people other than your playtesters? Going public. So I think when one goes public with a game, the core structure of it should be set.
Yeah.
You shouldn't still be deciding on your health abstraction. You shouldn't be deciding on what dice to use. When I say show people, I mean like put it up on a website, like post it for others to consume. It should not be about what game am I making at that point. It should be, let's iterate on it and refine the rules, refine the balance, add more content. But I would say once the engine is running and you're not going to switch it out.
Yeah.
It's like, I at this point, by the time I went public with TFE, the injury system wasn't going to change. The die I'm going to use aren't going to change. Like, the core rules there were complete. And that's when I went public with it.
Yeah. But what's great is the Discord you set up. Because there's so much game design talk, and people are bringing up their games, and it's just such a good place to
to just workshop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking with people in a design Discord, whether mine or like the big design Discord that I'm a mod in, you could go in there at any stage, right? Start shopping it around, of course. But if you want to start generating public interest on a game, you want to already have what you're giving them set. Like you want to know what that product is that you're promising them. If you're basically going to start building up an audience to sell a product.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Let's see here. I didn't think he'd actually answer, says a Scrat, about the nuts. I take you very seriously, buddy. Let's see here. I see somebody, usually a sprint is like 2 weeks, not a year. I know. Don't do what I did. Sorry, did I miss? Oh, right there, what do you think is the most important for a TTRPG to get right? From Lorenzi. It's a really good question. The vibe, what I mean by that is that the experience your game is presenting matches what you want them to feel. A lot of times people don't care what dice they roll in the end, as long as they're having fun and you're immersing them in the type of experience you want. Right? Because does it matter that D&D is a D20? Only a little bit. Like there's some math reasons why, and like dice feel reasons why, but honestly, it's about articulating an experience you want them to feel. So if you get that right, that's a win. Even if the balance is off or what have you. It's making people feel that feeling you're trying to get them to feel. Right? Whatever I cite like a movie. If a session of my game can feel like the movie Aliens or something, right? Not Alien specifically, right? Go watch that movie about it. Then that would be successful, right? If it's feeling like the movie Predator or some of the Westerns I like. Yeah. It's the evocation you're going for, the vibe.
Yeah, you nailed it in Clockwork.
Thank you.
I feel like playing Red Dead Redemption. In a
Yeah,
game.
yeah, exactly. It should feel
And
like
also zombies.
what is it? The old expansion for first Red Dead Redemption, the zombie expansion, right? It should feel like that. So getting the vibe down is huge.
I think that's important.
Yeah, making sure that you are replicating what the touchstones are for your game is big. So games like Mothership, right, replicate that extremely clearly. And getting art for your game is usually a good way to do that, but that costs a lot of money. Let's see here. Daniel says, I've compiled questions I've seen and sent them to you, FYI. Oh.
In Discord.
In Discord? Did you send them as a DM? I've got a lot of messages. Oh, he put it in... Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. I'll catch up.
Back to this.
Yeah, we'll come back to this. So...
He's from earlier on the chat.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so David Vanderhayden says, how did you guys meet and where are good places to find YouTube editors? I'm going to hire an editor one day for Vicarious Ventures, basically as soon as I can, LOL. I knew his family since before he was born, and that's how I have come to know him.
I was forced into a friendship with Peter.
Yeah. I'm best friends with his eldest brother, because I'm, as you can tell, much older.
I do know an editor too. If you need one, just you can reach out.
I mean, this guy is an editor who is a freelancer, and do you know other editors as well potentially?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, like honestly, if you do have questions about finding editors, Tim is in the TFE Discord. Ping him, or DM him.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'd be happy to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
Video editors can be quite expensive, of course, but they're worth every penny.
Yeah.
Charlie says, how did you find artists for your work? How do you know when to release content onto your website, like base rules? That second question I was kind of already answering.
Yeah.
First one, I found my artists through Reddit, and I made posts on starving artists, hire an artist, our commissions, and got something like 100 portfolios that I went through until I found the core 2 artists that I've been working with for about a year. I've since then met several artists through the Discord that I'm also working with. If any of you guys are in here, you know who you are. You guys are awesome, like Red Richard. But I actually used Reddit. I think there might be pinned somewhere a guide on how to post, like, that shows the post that I made. If you can't find that in the TFE Discord, let me know.
It might be in the TFE art channel, maybe.
Maybe pinned somewhere, yeah.
Pinned there.
Question. Philip says, do you have any kind of equivalent to those the stereotypes about indigenous people, like savages of the untamed land kind of thing? No, we don't have any negative indigenous stereotypes. You can choose as your culture one of 3 tribal groups that are inspired by different regions of North America. This isn't our Earth, it's an adjacent one, so to speak. And one of the key things is it's not just a single, I'm a native. There's not that option. You pick the distinct cultures, each of which have their own ideologies and personalities and clothing. And so that's what I'm trying to avoid that. Mike, I'll ask, what advice do you have for others that are designing games? I think I answered that one. Oh, Daniel's crossing them out. This is really helpful. What other designers do you take inspiration from? John Harper is a big one for Blades in the Dark. Not because I'm trying to make the same game as him, but I really like a lot of how Blades in the Dark presents its rules and the intentionality behind it. That's a really big one. I don't know if I have another one like immediately front of mind that I would cite. I would say Mothership's GM guidance section, the Warden Guide, is a really good example of a well-constructed Warden Guide that's very purpose-built. But like specific designers that I really like Evan Nimble 5e. I've gotten a chance to talk to its designer a few times, and I really like the iterative approach that he's done for 5th edition. I find a lot of D&D heartbreakers, D&D fixes, don't move the needle a lot on how the core gameplay experience occurs. They're just refining what is already there, but didn't actually change how it plays. And Nimble is, I think, a substantive shift in moment-to-moment experience of D&D while still being very much D&D. I think that's cool. So, anyway, the designers that I talk to all the time are the ones, like, all you guys are awesome. But those are some specific ones who I've read, like, a more complete product of that I would cite. At what point do you go from making a homebrew hack of another system to making your own? Honestly, it can take a decade like it did for me. There's really no hard line there. It's totally cool to just make a hack of an existing system and stick with that, or make your own. There really isn't a rule there. Some of it may have to do with licensing, though. But that's one I can't really speak specifically. How did you get committed playtesters? I was very fortunate to have I live in a part of the United States where there is no shortage of people who like to play tabletop role-playing games.
Yep.
And so I had a group of friends that I was playing with. I had my other group of friends that I play D&D with all the time. And then I gathered a third group of friends that involved my wife. And those were my core playtesters for a number of years. And then I made a YouTube channel and Discord server to get more.
Yeah.
Then I became a content creator to get more.
You ran some at some local game shops, right? Before? Or no?
Yes, I also I've run. You can't drive 10 miles without tripping over a dozen game stores where we are in the world, and so I've run at some small conventions and game shops here. Good question. From the AMA channel that I may have missed. For eventual Mad Max-like theme, do you already have mechanics figured out for car chases and car combat? I don't.
Talk about that a lot, though.
But I think about it a lot, and I want to have one.
It will happen.
Yeah. Question from Vase again, from Left for the Vultures. Do you see Clockworld having dungeon crawl style adventure or mostly wilderness and travel adventure? That's because I can't imagine a dungeon unless it's a mining cave. So I'm curious what your ideas have crossed your mind. It's definitely, I would describe Clockworld and maybe Tales from Elsewhere games in general, good for medium length games, and specifically more like West Marches style, where you're telling shorter stories about going out into the wilderness, surviving, and coming back.
Yeah.
But they're also, it's a game where the players are often the bystanders in the situation. And so it's not so much like, is this a dungeon crawl, is it wilderness exploration? It's the players are on a train and the train derails in the middle of the wilderness. Can they get back to civilization? Can they survive the night? You can have full stories like that. Dungeon crawls, I have run mini dungeons, basically. It's like exploring pre-calamity mines, pre-calamity factories. You know, there are caves. You can still have that sort of experience.
Houses.
Spooky houses can be a dungeon, a haunted house. So those definitely exist. Yeah. And that's one of the play tests that I've run in the Discord server, is the Misplaced Priest, which is a haunted house sort of thing. But yeah, honestly, the rule system, the players are not super durable, so it is not designed for an endurance session. The wounds start adding up very quickly, and it can be very deadly very fast. Frank Piotr just asked, do you address the balance between player agency and GM vision in your game? I do. This is actually not in the quick start, but is in the full rules. I do talk a lot about the intentionality behind the rules, on who is in control of what. It's fairly concrete as far as guidance goes. It says, here's what the players should decide for themselves. Here's what the GM should do. Here's where that workload, how it's separated. And how I intend those rules to be leveraged. Like, there's honestly 3 small paragraphs just on like the subject of perception checks and guidance to how the GM and the players should resolve this, on how I intend it to be used. Just because that's the rules. I'm a fan of rules that state their intentionality. And so there's a lot of that in the rule system. You can always just take the core resolution and run it however you want, but the rule book does actually articulate how it wants to be presented. Okay, so I think I'm caught up now. I think, let's see.
I don't know.
I think, let me check the messages here. I think that, because we answered, there's one from Piotr.
Yeah.
And then Daniel just texted me and said, I think that's everything. So we've caught up on chat. We're at an hour and a half. And I see Zarek.
Oh, Zarek.
Zarek is here. Hey! See Odinski Gaming there. Yeah, we were just talking about Indominate, and he held up. Hey, he's got his copy here.
I love it. I love the inside. It's such a nice design.
I know. I haven't flipped through it in person yet.
Just like the organization of the side here.
It's really a well-organized
book.
This is a well-organized rule book. It makes me so jealous. I'm really bad at this kind of stuff, like the graphic design. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, really solid product. I do have a question here. Where was it? How much of a rulebook should be dedicated to the players versus to the GMs? So, if your game, there's 2 forks to this. If your game is symmetrical, as in you're creating a simulation that the players and the GM are both subject to, really you don't need as much of a GM section because everybody's using the same rules, right? Your GM section could just be like your list of monsters and some guidance on how to run a session. If your game is asymmetrical, you'll need to have a much more even split, right, between the two. And I'm assuming you're doing a single rulebook approach, not like D&D where you have 3 rulebooks, right? So you need to put the weighting of the rules based on how different those approaches need to be. If your game is also very atypical, then you want to have a much more robust GM section because people are going to need to know how to run the game. Like Spider in the Discord server is making a game inspired by the writings of Gene Wolfe, like Book of the New Sun. Oh. This is extremely cerebral and surreal. And there's going to need to be some solid GM guidance in that rulebook because it's asking a very different question of the GM than normal. As it's a game that involves like group journaling and just like it's really abstract.
That's cool.
I'm fascinated by it. But that's going to need a more substantive GM section. For example, my game, it's almost a 50-50 split page count-wise between the player-facing rules and the GM section simply because the threats section is going to be fairly long because each threat is a 2-page spread and there's like 60 of them. So there's just a lot of page count there because I like the idea of each monster you can open it up and it has everything you need to run it. GM guidance, stats, lore, everything. Cool art. Yeah. That's I think the main question though is your game symmetrical or is it asymmetrical as far as the systems that a GM and a player is subject to? Like I've just been reading the Daggerheart SRD, so it comes to mind. Daggerheart is asymmetrical. Anything that's powered by the apocalypse is asymmetrical. You're both operating under moves, but the way you act and the way NPCs act are different. Blades in the Dark, super asymmetrical. Like the enemies don't have turns even. Like they don't have hit points even. Like it's super asymmetrical. How do you deal with book layout? You struggle. You struggle so much because it's so hard, and then you start looking to people to pay to make it better. Honestly,
even using InDesign. Right.
I'm learning InDesign. I've come a long way.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot. But how do you deal with it? One of the main ways is find an example of a book that is laid out the way you would want yours and copy the layout. Like approach it the same way.
Yeah.
Order it the same way. Use the same sort of thing. Obviously, don't copy the style literally, but like find a style you like and then replicate that. That's what I've been trying to do. I'm just not good at it.
It's so hard, especially for 200 plus page book.
Man, pages. Yeah, it's going to be probably about like 350 to 380 pages. It's a lot. It's just not a strong suit of mine. Oh, and Zarek says, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm super excited to get the hard copy, Zarek. Whenever that comes out, because I did the special edition cover. I did the special edition cover. It was so cool. I'm so excited." Aspire RPG says, "What's an intentional rule you might use to mod TFE into a specific setting? Maybe a Bloodborne setting. Hey, we got another Bloodborne fan. Hey. So, okay, the way to make other settings in TFE is quite simple because the setting is just a set of backstory elements, equipment, and edges. The core rules are very easy to apply to multiple things. So really it's like picking a set of equipment you think would be cool, making some backstory choices that they get to pick, write some edges that are Bloodborne inspired, and boom, you have a setting. If the game is supposed to have a high level of lethality and brutality because, again, wound system is fairly gnarly. I do plan on having in the rulebook that I'm working on now, there will be a section in the GM section on how to hack this. Nice. Small amount of guidance, not a huge section, but like it's fairly easy. And I don't think Red Richard may be in the chat right now, but Red Richard, who I talk to a lot in the Discord server, he's already hacked his own stuff for just testing because he's trying to test it. He's made his own monsters. He's made his own backstory elements. He's made his own versions of edges. It's not hard. Because the math is really easy. It's not a very math complex game. Scrat says he's got to bounce because he's going to go play some Grinwood games. Catch you later. Later, Scrat. So on the topic, how did you decide how far you wanted to take the supernatural aspects of your death mechanics? Oh, that's a fun question. So for those that are familiar with all the other Weird West games out there, Deadlands is very fantasy, right? If you've ever played Deadlands. Hucksters have decks of cards that they weave magic with. Like, it's very overtly magical. And I knew I wanted a game that was less magical than that, like significantly so, where there's supernatural elements, but you're not casting spells per se. That some characters would be able to pick features that are supernatural, but it wouldn't be like super, super magical. For the death mechanics, a classic idea in Westerns is like, the dead come back for revenge type of thing. So I knew like that's fairly in line. There's already the concept of being undead in the game, so having things occur when somebody dies was very in line with it. Elsewhere itself, like elsewhere as a place and as an energy source feeds on human emotion and human minds, and the intentionality of people's minds connect to it. So somebody who dies in agony could absolutely become a ghost or a haunting psychic influence. Like, it's very in line with the setting.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. I mean, we already had, we didn't call it that at the time, but a player being able to play as an undead character has been in the rules for a while. And it's called Bard from the Marble Orchard, and it's awesome. Let's see here. Oh, Lunge says, I already got my hardcover of Daggerheart. That's awesome. I didn't order a copy of it because I don't think it's a game I'm necessarily going to want to play or run, like, substantively, but they have a very substantive SRD for free that I've been reading. Yeah, and Zarek saying you just kind of take a stab at it and learn from other books when it comes to layouts. Oops. Then Piotr says, can't wait for the upcoming death mechanic. For those that maybe don't know, we did announce the next like indie design challenge thing. We're calling it Tabletop Community Spotlight. And it's about death mechanics or failure states in role-playing games. Just like, what cool stuff have you built apart from? You're at 0 hit points, you die. Is there other cool stuff surrounding that? That info's in the Tales from Elsewhere Discord server, and we posted a video just Friday announcing that. So that is out right now.
That'll be interesting seeing everyone's take on
it. I know, right?
It's such a main part of all the games.
So somebody pointed out, I think somebody in the Discord server and in a YouTube comment, we cut the time in half from 10 minutes or less to 5 minutes or less. Somebody said, you're just going to get double the number of entries now. So it's still going to be 6 hours of live streaming. So
good luck.
Lorenzi, I'm running it today. Cool. Let me know how Daggerheart goes for you running it. I'm curious to just hear more people's experiences. Twice Dead Mage says, talking about magic, how many ways of implementing and mechanicizing magic do you think there are out there?
At least one, probably.
There's at least one.
Yeah.
And what are your and Tim's favorite types of magic, like mechanicizing and implementing magic? Oh gosh. I mean, you liked 4th edition D&D's way, where martial and magic and everybody is like cool and special. I did really like that too, because like you were playing a cleric.
Yeah. And
so you got to have like kind of smitey abilities and spells kind of all using the same level of complexity, which is neat.
Yeah.
I will say I am not a fan of Vancian spellcasting, the concept of using spell slots that recover per day, like D&D has used primarily. I still enjoy D&D. I'm playing a level 12 wizard right now in my every other Friday game, but Vancian spellcasting just isn't particularly evocative to me. So I would say that's one of my least favorite ways. But yeah, there's so many ways. Too many to count. Honestly, there's like so many. You have freeform approaches versus concrete approaches.
I'm excited to see what you come up with.
I actually have some. I have some working versions of some magic ideas for the medieval setting, but they're too early to
not yet.
really reveal. But they won't be anything like. I don't think they'll be anything revolutionary.
I know it's not a tabletop, but I liked. What was that game? Magicka?
Magicka.
That
So the video
really
game
fun.
Magicka,
good magic system,
where you mix the elements together and to create spell effects was rad.
That was a great
I
game.
really liked that as well. That was super cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. You just combine them and make new spells and everything.
Right,
It was fun.
Super cool. And I know that isn't there like a League of Legends or a Dota 2 character that does that as well? And in Last Epoch, the Rune Master or whatever subclass for the mage has something like that too. I think it's super cool. I like Magic the Gathering a lot too, even though that's not really a feeling of playing Magic. But there's so many. Hey, John from Pathways to Adventure. Pathways to Adventure is also a game in which martial characters and magic characters have similar levels of complexity.
Okay,
and
cool.
Everybody gets to do cool stuff, right? That's how
it should be. I like that.
Yeah, so Lorenzi, you're talking about the idea of it's very open-ended, where characters are free to more create a spell idea, and then you instantiate it in the game. That's also super cool. There's so many ways. Vancian spellcasting is the safe and boring way to do magic. Yeah,
it's safe. Yes.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with it. I'm always apprehensive to say that a design is wrong. It's just it's what a 40-year-old rule structure, and it's just not all that. I don't find it particularly evocative. It's more of like a grocery list way of spellcasting. It's too much resource management and not enough evocation.
Yeah.
Oh, John, hi, Sheriff. Hello. I'm using a blackjack magic casting. You got to gamble with your safety. Oh yeah, having dangerous magic is always fun.
That's cool.
So I assume with your magic system, you're trying to get to a certain number and not go over. And if you go over, you get some sort of backlash. That's fun. So but the closer you get to that number, the more powerful the magic might be. So you're tempted to go all the way. Yeah, that's super cool.
I like that.
Yeah, without going over. Oh, and somebody's mentioning that in Deadlands, Hucksters, you play a hand of poker also, like I think is what it is. Card game based. It doesn't have to be literally card games with blackjack. You can still do that with dice as rolling dice to try not to go over.
Yeah.
I like when magic is dangerous and special if you're going to do magic rather than mundane if possible.
I feel like that's how TFE will be.
Yeah, it'll be something dangerous because it's horror.
And then you pair that with Western and you got the same kind of stuff.
Bing, bang, boom. Then you got, like I said, I'm one of the dozens of people that likes the anime Outlaw Star. I don't know if anybody's watched that, but it was super cool. It was like a very Western game, but you had like spell guns where you'd load like this rune carved bullet into the gun and it shot out a magic spell. It was super cool.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to copy that, but it wasn't.
Yeah. There's a Magica card game? Oh, that's cool, Daniel.
Yeah, I never actually... Ars Magica has a very open-ended RPG one.
Gotcha.
Magic spells and cleric channeling should feel different. IMO, says Daryl. Ah, yes. The domains of magic and magic sources like arcane versus primal versus divine. So much of that is connected not only to the design, but to the world building. Are these different characters drawing from different power sources? Are they the same power source? Or are, do they even know what they're drawing it from? Or is it more about the vessel and how they do it, right? These are super interesting questions. Like, in Forgotten Realms, I believe all magic comes from the weave? I forget if divine magic also has to go through the weave. It's actually been a minute since I've read up on this lore. Anyway, you can have them be the same, you can have them be different. It depends on if, like, the vessel is where the magic mechanics come from and the rest is just power source, or if the relationship between the character and their power source is... matters more in the system. Yeah, that's a great point. Like sorcerers are inborn magic versus a cleric who receives it from a god. Yeah. All that kind of stuff could be super different in a game. I mean, I just like anything that increases the vibe value of a game, right? Let's see here. Outlaw Star call out. Showing your age. Yeah.
He does that a lot.
I do that a lot. Back in my day, we stayed up watching Adult Swim, while playing World of Warcraft. So John says, like the spell plague affected all spellcasters, not just clerics. Right. That's a Forgotten Realms event, which like the weave got corrupted. And
that's cool.
Anyway, here's another question. How are we doing on time? Okay, we'll go for 2 hours max, I think, is reasonable, and then my voice starts to crater. So we'll go for a little longer, because this is a blast. How much control do players have over chaotic magic results? How much can they minimize risks, etc.? That's a great question. I don't know if you were asking that of somebody else or me. That's a great question. But again, it depends on the relationship the characters have in fiction to the magic. My preference is when magic is not a science that has already been mastered, where magic is playing with forces that humanity can only barely control. I find that more evocative. See you, Blaze.
See you later, Blaze.
I'm going to really quick bio break for me, so I'll be right back.
Oh, gosh, it's left with me.
You'll have Tim. So,
all right.
Be back in just a moment.
All right, should we start editing one of Peter's videos? All right, let's see here. All right, Peter's gone. I have a lot of power. What do you guys want to know? I'll tell you everything you need to know about Clock World. Oh, there's a new sheriff in town. It's me. It's been fun working with Peter and doing these videos. Because most of my work is just about game reviews or movie reviews. So it's fun doing something different, and I enjoy it. I actually worked on a video for Blaze the other day, which was very entertaining because he's actually a hilarious, funny dude, and it was fun. The best beer in Clock World. They got a lot of good whiskey in Clock World. That's definitely their specialty. I don't think he has actually any names for any of them, but that might be a fun idea to put those in. Okay, you got some secret sauce here. Okay, so I have Peter's social security number if you want that. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. See you later. Who's that? Frank? I don't know what this. I don't know what to. I want to show you some of my. So I'm talking about my editing. I work with Adobe Premiere. I don't know what everyone else uses, but I've used that for my whole career basically. I learned some of the more intense programs like Avid for video editing, which is one that Hollywood uses and all that, which it's not good. I don't like that editing software, so I've always used Premiere, which has been fun. I didn't ruin it, I swear.
You didn't get me deplatformed and demonetized?
I already gave him your social security number.
Oh, right. Yeah,
so
you pulled up a Google Maps, showed them my home address.
Yeah.
Right, great.
How many plants do I have? Lots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. At least 10, 11 in here.
There's some one off camera here. Yeah.
Makes the air nicer in here, Better for sleeping.
This isn't the normal place that I film, right? We're in a different... I've been taken to a second location.
Yeah. Well, what's favorite sauces? I love any hot sauce. Just hot sauce in general. Habanero hot sauce. I like it spicy. It's delicious. That's my go-to for everything I eat. I just put hot sauce on it.
I am a weakling, and I get a lot of guff from my in-laws for how weak I am when it comes to hot sauce. Because, okay, my mother-in-law is an incredible cook, and she will make two hot sauces for any meal. The one that I get to eat and that most people eat, and the one my father-in-law eats. No one else touches that second one. So
burn your mouth.
I've tried it once and it was insane. Favorite sauce though, like a good homemade salsa.
Yeah,
a homemade salsa is wonderful. I do like an aioli on a burger. I think that's really nice.
Like garlic aioli.
Ooh, garlic aioli.
Anything with garlic is delicious.
Yeah. I'm not a huge sauce guy, though, I would say. I also have an unrefined palate. I love food, but I'm a cretin. I'm a cretin.
Yeah.
I'm a peasant when it comes to it. Oh, why does the U.S. still use social security number? I can't answer it.
Why do we do a lot of things we do here?
I can't answer that.
Yeah.
He should have a contest for people to name different beers.
Oh, he said, what's the best beer in Clockworld? I was like, whiskey's more prominent, I feel like.
Yeah. So beer, interestingly, in the Wild West, people didn't drink a lot of beer. Mm-hmm. People actually, surprisingly, people drank a lot more champagne than you would expect. Really? Cowboys drank champagne. Huh. The reason being is whiskey was often watered down. They'd make it into a swill, right, to make it last longer, because whiskey's just poured from a keg.
Yeah.
So you don't even know what they've done to it, or they put it in some random bottle. If you pop champagne and it's fizzy still, you know it's fresh and hasn't been diluted. So people ordered champagne because you knew it was good, when a lot of whiskey was contaminated or watered down. Yeah, so there you go. A little bit of history there. They wouldn't have drank a lot of beer, honestly.
Being an editor, I did go to a 4-year college in the film and electronics department, so I did technically have education for this. I didn't need it. You don't need it for video editing. Most of it I had already learned growing up, because luckily in high school we had a video production class as well I took for 4 years, and it's honestly just the more you do it, the better you get at it. Sure, the education, I did learn things, but with technology nowadays, the cameras, your phones, with there's free editing softwares out there. Anyone can get into it. But I've done it for, 10 plus years now, and so just the experience alone has helped immensely. But, I don't go around for jobs and here's my degree, hire me. They don't care at all that I have that.
Right.
But it was fun because a lot of hands-on, actually working on sets and being there, and so it was definitely a good time. And
we live in the place to be for the film and video industry in general. Yeah, I've said it before. We are in the greater Los Angeles area. Yeah, this is
so it is everywhere, and everyone's trying to make it.
This is where all the stars are, where all the people are. It's all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Black's my neighbor. Yeah.
Right. We got to go find Matt Mercer. He's somewhere in this region, right? We know he's
probably find him.
We have connections to get real close.
Yeah. What was that the Kevin Bacon scale or whatever? How close degrees of?
I am now only 2 degrees from Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Yeah.
Which means I'm only 3 degrees from Matt Mercer now, or whatever.
I think I'm around the same there too. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got just being in this area lends itself a lot to that. So, how long have each of you known each other when you start working together? This one was answered earlier, but to answer really quick, I've actually known Tim since he was born because I've been friends with his family since I was 5 years old, and I'm moderately older than him.
33 years. I think that's how I am. Yeah.
However old you are is how long I've known him. Yeah. And we started working professionally together, though, at the launch of this YouTube channel. But I've known him for quite some time. Will you be doing the design and layout? I will be primarily implementing the design and layout, but I am working with a professional layout designer to get me started. And then we will see budget-wise how much I will have him do versus myself do. I'm fairly competent working in InDesign. I just don't have the visual skills to do it.
We got like the main pages made, so you could just copy those.
Yeah. Scribbles Peter weak against fire ? Like I said, my dump stat is Constitution. I'm easy to take down. I'm big and tall. Like I'm a large guy, but I'm like not durable. He is an alien, as Odin said. He said footsteps, which is an inside joke from a D&D campaign 15 years ago, which is great to see.
Still got it.
Base ingredients taste wonderful. Why use sauces? I'll use A1 sauce to cover up the taste of a bad steak, but a good steak doesn't need sauce. Classes, video editing class in high school. Awesome.
We also, me and my brothers, my dad was a theater major in college, and he'd constantly have cameras and new tech and all this and costumes. So me and my brothers have made silly, ridiculous videos our whole lives. So we're just always immersed in it, which was
his family's super creative, and like when it comes to visual performing arts and music and all that, and I can design things.
So that helped us out too.
I don't have any of that visual aspect. I know creating a game is an act of creative as well, but I don't have the visual arts aspect there. Oh, it says, we're in the, we don't want to dox ourselves. We're in the greater Los Angeles County area. Yeah, so we were in Southern California. I remember in high school graphic design class, I used PowerPoint to make frame animation. Yes.
PowerPoint.
I went to high school and every school with Tim's older brother, and we did some awesome graphic design back then. Tim, do you have Blender experience?
No, Blender scares me. It's I've watched tutorials and stuff on how to use it, but I've never got into it. That's a different thing. I'm not.
Is Miles getting into Blender? No, he's just in Godot.
He's just doing game designing. No, the most I use is Adobe After Effects for like 2D effects, not really anything 3D.
Right, the little animated graphics on the YouTube videos you'll see, like with little characters animating.
But Blender, never used it. I looked into it, but it's just too much.
Oh, Barge Games. As someone who teaches Blender every year, it's a bear.
It seems insane. I'll just stick with my editing. That's enough.
Yeah. Well, like Philip was saying, creating a game is the rare mix of technical and creative imagination. The taking a game from an idea to a finished product is incredibly multidisciplinary, and it's why I've leaned a lot on Tim, on Daniel, the other dev, and
Zach to help with.
The website. I had my good friend help with the website.
Helps out Village.
And I make enough money that I've taken all my fun money budget that I would spend on buying new video games, going out to eat as much, travel, and been funneling that into paying professionals for artwork, layouts, and so forth over the last year or so. What skills I don't have or don't have in my network, I try to set budget for to do so. But it's expensive because I believe in paying people a very fair wage if I can afford it. It's very multidisciplinary, and we're getting into the marketing side as well as a whole nother thing. What I wanted to mention to anybody who's considering being a content creator and a game designer, don't try to do both at the same time. Would not recommend. It's a lot of work. Unless you're willing to do a burnout year like I am, it's a ton of work to do both. Each one of these can be its own full-time task. So beware. And that's only the YouTube channel is only possible because I'm working with a video editor. If I had to also edit the YouTube videos myself, they would look really bad because I wouldn't spend that much time on it. because they don't have it.
Yeah,
on the chart,
it would
right?
just
Like,
be like your sheriff office hours. You probably
yeah, it would be just
barely
like,
edit and-
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that,
no,
but
not at all. But,
right, there was a goal here, like an ambition with the channel that we're trying to hit, right? It's a plan that's working pretty well. So let's see here. I actually did know, Philip, about the origins of the word bear.
the brown.
Etymology is fascinating.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, to avoid speaking its true name. Yeah, I love, world building wise, I love the idea of titles for creatures rather than like their real name. Anyway, the one of the books I've read that was it's an anthology of various Native American writers who were writing short horror, and it was called Never Whistle at Night, because the idea, one of the common myths among a lot of indigenous North Americans, is that if you hear whistling in the forest at night, never whistle back.
Oh,
because whatever you've replied to will then follow you home.
That's creepy.
It's super creepy. I love it. And I actually incorporated that into the Bootyard Bilker.
Yeah.
Bootyard
I
Bilker.
remember that.
You'll hear it.
That whistling.
You'll hear its whistling first.
Oh, that's creepy.
It's super creepy. I love it. Zarek is saying, I agree. Keeping up with videos while designing a game and working on a day job is nearly impossible. Yep.
Yeah.
I took the sleep block out on that one. Yeah, and you ran the Bilker in a test and it went really well.
Just the creepy whistling sound.
Creepy whistling.
Don't
is
know
good.
what that is.
Gosh, the Bootyard Bilker is such a cool mechanical enemy too. It like buries people alive and super cool stuff. I can't wait to get art for that.
Oh, that'd be really sweet.
Oh man, so the Kickstarter campaign that's coming up, one of the main funding goals is to pay the artists we've already been working on. And if you've seen like the Blood Oiler or this artwork,
Yeah.
this one's by Bray's art. The Blood Oiler and most of the monsters are by Dr. Neri. Those are their Instagram titles. They make awesome stuff, and I want all of their artwork. It's to fund them to fill the rulebook with high-res, super high-quality artwork for every monster, every backstory element. So over 100 pieces of artwork, like full render, that's going to be, and I'm working with some other artists like Red Richard for things like the vendors.
The book's gonna look real nice.
Yeah, I've been
Getting all
talking
this
with
art in it.
with Jeff Whitty art as well, for things like equipment images, because he's good at like doing the small. Anyway, it's to just fill the rulebook with super cool art.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. Bootyard Bilker. I want to see that. If you do work with an artist, my recommendation is find an artist that already makes the kind of art you want. So yeah, any talented artist can try to replicate different styles. But for example, I found an artist that had horror monster artwork in their portfolio already.
Yeah.
And it was really evocative, bizarre, and disturbing artwork. And I'm like, I won't need to explain to him what he needs to do. And so far, it's been an incredible working relationship with this artist. He's over in Portugal. Never actually like met him per se. It's just always been DMs basically. And I can give him a simple idea, a base idea, and he'll run with it and improve entirely on what my idea was. Like
insane. He's so good. So talented.
the cover artwork, which we haven't revealed yet. We've gotten the final cover artwork in for the rulebook. It's
beautiful.
amazing. I had given him a pitch on what I thought the cover artwork would be, and he did a bunch of versions that were reminiscent of it. And then he did another one that was just his own idea, completely ignoring any directions I had, and it was by far better than anything I pitched. Because he understands now, after working with me like a year, he really gets the world and gets what we're going for. So trusting artists and finding ones that are already have in their wheelhouse the type of content you want is killer.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Being unemployed helped me with my design time. Yeah. Time is my greatest, is the most limited resource for me at the moment as a full-time job and all that. And luckily, Mrs. the Sheriff has been incredibly supportive of Burnout Year. If one has a partner, I've taken a lot of time away from her.
Oh, yeah.
Most nights, like, she'll go to bed and I'll be up for 2-3 hours longer just in my office alone. Like, she's very supportive of it. That's been very helpful. So, I mean, don't do what I do unless you, like, have buy-in.
Yeah. Talk about it ahead of time.
Don't forsake your personal relationships. Don't, like, replicate this approach directly.
No.
Yeah, it's, it can be very taxing. Artists do your thing easier than do this things. Yeah. You want the artist to do their style, absolutely, and that's why being really picky with your artist can be big. Taking time to find one that you really want to work with, getting some initial pieces to make sure it works well, and make sure you have a good working relationship before committing to spending potentially thousands of dollars on further artwork. Because I've spent a lot of money on my own money, and it's worth every penny, and it's amazing.
Yeah, like, did he do the Blood Oiler as the first one, Neri, or was?
I think Blood Oiler was his first piece.
And
yeah, he just knocked it out.
Nailed it right
Yeah,
away.
just knocked it out.
Like,
yeah.
Peter gave him a good description of what he wanted, so that helped him well. But he just knew, he's like, I got this.
Yeah, he just takes it. And I think I've
good.
shown before on a stream how the Sight for Sore Eyes threat, this monster, I gave him a description. He made what I described, and it didn't look good. And then I just told him, like, what do you think this looks like? Just go for it. And he made this super awesome, like, twisted looking. You can see the final product, the final sketch, because that's not a full render in the TFE Discord server. It's in there in the artwork section.
Yeah.
Design time starts at double digits at night. Yeah, luckily I've been my entire adulthood I've suffered from insomnia, and so like I'm used to operating with very little sleep. So
lucky you.
lucky me. How are we on time? Okay, it has now been 2 hours since we started. I think we'll probably wrap it up there. That went real fast.
Yeah, it always does.
Yeah. Shout out to Mrs. the Sheriff. Yeah, Mrs. Sheriff is great. She is awesome. I don't know if she's watching at the moment, but
she's also an artist. Fantastic.
She's also a fantastic artist. Yeah,
she's
awesome. She's super smart. She helps me a lot with the history side of game design, making sure that things like clothing and time periods are accurately represented. So she's great. But yeah, thank all of you for hanging out here today. This is super fun, and because really this is the only way that this entire project works is with the community, connecting with all of you and being subscribers. And counting now. Yeah, it's already crazy. At like 4.1 something, so it's already going up from there.
See a couple weeks then, 5,000.
Right. Well, I mean, we'll be at 5,000 before the Kickstarter campaign for sure. Then it's absolutely incredible. So all of you, thank you so much, and thank you, Tim, for all of your work, of course, on the YouTube channel, and for showing up today to answer questions. Last chance to backtrack on that bashing of Andor. I'm not blaming Andor. Blame the editors. The editors were bad. Yeah, and I have a problem with some of the writers. I don't want to spoil anything.
I haven't seen it yet.
Some of the way they treated some of those characters, I did not agree with from a writing standpoint. I'm not backtracking on that. I love Star Wars. And make me re-watch it. I just finished it recently, and then watched Rogue One, and Rogue One is awesome. But anyway, we're going to stop there.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Thank you, all of you over there. And I mean, you'll see us this upcoming week, so to speak, in our weekly video. So thanks
to actually get working on this video.
Yeah, right. That one's coming up real fast. So thanks, everybody. We'll close down the stream now.
All right, see you all later. That was fun. Oh God, you missed the button.
And just so you know, it lasts a little longer after I hit end.